Welcome to another episode of the Total R&B podcast. My name is Lorena, and today I have another amazing guest with us today. This person is an artist, they're a writer, they're an engineer, they're a musical director, they're also an entrepreneur. They have their own sunglasses line that we're going to get into as well, that he is wearing, because of course you got to promote yourself. He was a musical director for the Millennium Tour, which we all love, and it was actually a winner of Billboard Award for Best Tour. And he's also worked with so many artists like Charlie Wilson, Escape, Monica, Kelly Price, 112, Brownstone, Aaliyah. So we're going to get into all of that and more. So welcome to the podcast, Marcus Devine.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the time out to speak with me. So I'm always grateful when that happens because I know time is precious. So thank you so much for saying
Thank you.
yes. So, as I usually start off my podcast, whenever I have somebody new, I always ask them, "What is your first memory of R&B music? What comes to mind?"
Ooh, wee. My first memory that stuck out would have to be hearing Lionel Richie's "Hello."
Oh, okay,
You
straight
know what I
classic.
mean? Yeah, like to this day, that's still my all-time favorite song.
Okay.
So I would have to say that would be my first memory of R&B. Yeah.
Have you seen him? Have you seen him perform?
No, never seen him live. That's crazy.
Wow.
No, and I have friends that actually play for him. That's funny.
Yeah, that's why I was asking because I know you've done like musical direction, production, and all that stuff. You know, you're
Right.
from Detroit, so I was wondering. I was like, has he ever seen him live in concert? Because that would be dope.
Nah.
And what kind of music did you grow up listening to besides Lionel Richie?
Well, I grew up on gospel. I grew up um, first first quartet gospel, so it was different levels of it. You know what I mean? So it was first quartet gospel. The older I got into the choir side of it.
Mm.
Transitioned over to the Winans commission, which is R&B, if you know,
Yeah,
and a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that it was gospel really that influenced my musical side.
Okay. And were you
Um,
in a choir?
um, yes, actually, I won the Stella Award with this particular choir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was young. I was in the choir. I sang, and then I end up because I play bass. I started playing bass for a lot of different choirs.
I didn't even know you played bass. Oh
Yeah,
my.
that's my main instrument. I play
Okay.
bass, so I started
Okay.
playing bass for a lot of different community choirs and different things like that. So yeah,
Okay. But you said bass is your main instrument. So what other instruments do you play?
guitar, drums, keys.
Also, a little bit of
Um,
everything.
yeah, a little bit of everything. I played the harmonica in front of my wife before. She tripped out. So if she see this, she'll be like, "Why you just say the harmonica?"
Yo, that's so dope. Yo, that's crazy. Okay. And then I also saw somewhere that before getting into music, you were into basketball. So
I
how did you go from basketball to music?
I just knew I was going to be a basketball player. Like I would play in the snow, the rain. I don't care what the weather was. I'm going outside shoveling that one little square so I can practice or play. But in ninth grade, I did a talent show and I sang in a talent show and I saw that girls like singers and it changed my whole outlook on everything. So I still played basketball from ninth and 10th grade. And
Mhm.
halfway through the 11th grade, we had to go to Christmas tournament. And I was like, nah, I want to do music. I want to sing. And I quit. And they were waiting on the bus on me, and I didn't go. I just quit, and
Wow.
best decision I ever made. So
But I find like a lot of the artists that I spoke with, it's the talent shows. It's always when they do the talent shows or someone pushes them to do the talent show, it just makes a
yeah,
switch for them.
yeah.
Like they get that confidence or like the girls, start screaming, start looking at you a little differently and
And
it
I was
just
in the ninth grade, so I became all the upperclassmen's little boyfriend. Oh, that's my little boyfriend. They weren't taking me serious, but it was the fact that I was getting the attention. You know what I mean? So that changed everything for me.
wow. And I have to look because I'm not connected really with the schools that much. I wonder because I don't hear kids talking about talent shows anymore. Like I know, like when
Hmm.
I was growing up, talent shows was a big thing. Like
Ooh, man.
you waited for the talent show to come up, the auditions and everything. And I remember
Yeah.
my last year in high school, I helped put it together, like
Oh wow.
everything. But now I don't hear like kids talking about talent shows
Well,
or
they're terrible now.
oh,
Yeah, I went. My daughter and my son at their school, they would have talent shows. They would be so terrible to the point I asked, could I help put the next one on? Like it was. I'm like, what is going on? And I told them, I said, I'll never sit through another one. They were
what
that bad.
is it like all like TikTok dances that's happening?
It's
That's what I feel would be going on.
you know this. Nobody was hungry. It was like it didn't seem like nobody went home and said, "Yo, let me put my show together and let me like really." I don't know. It was like all just for the hollers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And not this is really what I want to do.
Okay.
So
That,
your friends could see you on stage. You just happy that they screamed because you came out. You don't care how dope your performance is. So,
before it was such
hmm
a big deal and you took it serious like
oh man.
it was everything.
You kick your friend out the group if they wasn't doing right back in the day. You know what I mean? You hey,
That
my
happened.
I'm willing to gamble my friendship on this. If you ain't gonna get it right, you can't be in the group.
No, that happened. I was in some dance some numbers there and yeah, so some conversations were had with some people. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a serious thing. Wow. And I know for you you are connected with Michael Powell because I just spoke with Beth and she had mentioned him.
yeah,
He worked with Anita Baker, and he's the one that
hmm
introduced her to Anita.
yeah.
I want to know what your connection is to him, and if you could maybe just explain to the audience like who Michael Powell is.
Oh my God. Okay, this is good. This is a good one. Nobody's ever asked this. This is
Oh,
yeah, like so. This is the bomb. So let me first say who Michael Powell is to me. He is. I call him the gateway. And when I say that, everybody, almost everybody that you know that came out of Detroit went through there at some point or another through Mike Powell's studio. Um, I remember I produced a song. I wrote a song for an artist that he had, and that was my first introduction of me sitting in the room with him, actually getting the chance to produce with him. And then he opened up the door. Just he Michael Powell that of Anita Baker Rapture, but he opened up the door to me like he been knowing me forever. And I was just getting started. And I used to call up to the studio and be like, "Is it okay if I just come up there?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." I had no reason to be there. I just wanted to be a fly on the wall just to see what was going on. And in that, he taught me a lot of things in passing, just about the music and about mixing and different things like that. Without me getting on his nerves, he turned to share it on his own, which was
okay.
beautiful to me. You know, so he was the gateway. If um, Mario Winans was there,
Mhm.
um, uh, J Pajam, J Moss, and all of them guys, all those different producers, everybody went through there, through Mike Powell. So that's who he is to me.
Well, no, that's amazing because her mentioning him made me go look who he was. I started to like do a little bit of googling, and I was
Okay.
like, wow, he seems like he's done a lot, but I feel like his Wikipedia doesn't really give too much information of all the things or like maybe the impact he's had
Yeah.
on artists and especially like for people in Detroit. So that's
And
why I
I'm
wanted
glad
to ask you about it because he
and
just
I'm
seems
glad you said that because I'm gonna put somebody on that because at a time when he was thriving and was the man, there was no Wikipedia. You know what I mean? There was that world wasn't even there. So and he did Anita Baker, Yolanda Adams, I think. There's so many people. I'm not even gonna start running down the line, but he's worked with a lot, and I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna get somebody on that to see if they can kind of get that up to date.
yeah.
So
Or, I mean, if you could put it out there, if I could interview him, I think that would be great because I think his story needs to be
no,
shared.
I'm on it. Say no more.
Yeah, because I feel like there's so many people that do things like you're in like the background technically, doing a music production and stuff, and we don't always get to hear your stories, or
Hmm.
even as a background singer, a lot of times we don't get to hear what you
Yeah.
guys go through, what it takes to be a background singer. Like
Right,
it's
right.
no platform, or your stories are not told. So I think it's
Mhm.
important to get those things out too.
I agree.
And I want to ask because you said like you would, call up and go to the studio even though you had nothing to do there technically. But do you think because he saw maybe your interest and your hunger that that is why he just kind of mentored you in a way, like gave you that advice and that information?
I'm pretty sure. Um, and because I've always been the type to say that the Bible verse, you have not because you ask not. Like I really believe that part. Like you know what I mean. That I could sit at home and wish I was a producer. I wish I was in this, but I'm like, all he could do is tell me no, and I
Yeah.
knew he was. I knew he was the man in the city. So it was like, let me call. And the cool thing is, once he heard my music, it was a like, oh, yeah, let's go. It was an easier. I think the music was the lead for me.
Hmm.
The thing that really made him open up the door. And
Okay.
once we got in there together, me calling up there, like, what y'all doing today? Can I come through? Made him be like, okay, this guy's serious. And he'll tell me today, he told me not too long ago, like, how proud of me he was. Like, so that mean the world to me, you know,
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what came first for you then? Was it singing or was it producing?
singing.
Singing came first.
Yeah.
Okay. So then how did you get into producing?
Um, okay. I had a friend that I used to do all the songwriting and singing. And I had a friend who did the music.
Okay.
And I had his keyboard and I was fiddling around because I would never try to learn how to play because I'm like, yo, my brother do all the playing, so I don't have to do it. And he took his keyboard from me. And I guess, and so it left me not being able to do anything. And we
Hmm.
wasn't working together that much no more. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna learn on my own. And I was working at a Oriental clothing store, and I was looking through a magazine at some at some keyboards, and a lady asked me, she said, "What are you looking at, Marcus?" And I was like, "I need a keyboard because my friend took his keyboard." And she said, "Let me see the one you want." And I showed it to her. She called her husband over, and they said something in their language,
Okay.
and turned to me and said, "Okay, go ahead and order it. We're going to pay for it for you." This is
Oh,
my very first day of work. I
your
didn't
first
even
day?
my first day. I didn't even know these people, so they bought it outright, and I just had to pay them back for my
Uh,
keyboard. But they delivered it to the store, everything. So now I can get my thing going because now I got my own keyboard, and I started going to the pawn shop buying sequencers and different pieces of gear, and that's how I got into it.
yo, how that aligned is crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it? But
That is.
that's my life though, and that's the name of my project. Is I love my life. That's the name of the title
Yeah,
of my album.
I was gonna ask you that because you have that on every one of your posts. That's like your tagline, your hashtag that you always use.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's how. Well, well, maybe that's not the start of it, but that's certain things that happened in your life like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
where it just aligned. That's
Hmm.
amazing. But it just shows that this is what you're meant to do.
Yeah,
Also,
I
it's
agree.
confirmation that you're in the right direction. You're on the right path. That is so
Hmm.
dope. So then where did the name the Heat Miser come from?
It's a cartoon, and I know you've seen it. A Christmas Without Santa Claus, Mr. Freeze, and
Oh, yes,
he had a
yes,
brother
yes,
called the Heat Miser.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just spell it different, so
Hmm.
I don't get sued. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's where the idea. That was my favorite cartoon growing up. But even as a grown person, I would watch that cartoon in the summer. I had a DVD. I'll be in my studio and it just be on loop, and I'll be working, and I look over at the TV and it's just on all the time.
Oh, okay. I was
Hmm.
thinking it was something more deep. I totally forgot about that cartoon.
You know,
Okay.
but what made me really gravitate to it is I've always used heat in my name or something to do with fire.
Hmm.
And this is gonna be sounding crazy when I say this. I used something to do with fire. Like if I started off at 2002 degrees was my first company name, and
Okay.
then my company name, my production company name is The Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always something to do with heat. But the crazy thing is, in 2006, my studio actually burned down. That was,
My God.
yeah, ain't that crazy? Like I maybe need to change that thing to something,
Something a little bit more
to,
cooler.
something a little cooler. Like, but yeah, so.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
Hmm.
so I also wanted to ask because I did see that you did backgrounds for Aaliyah.
Yep,
I'm such a huge fan of hers from when I was a kid. Still,
incredible person.
so I want to know like how did that connection happen, and if you can share maybe a story with me.
Um, well, it happened. His name is Kern Brantley. He's the music director. He used to be the music director for Lady Gaga, Mary J. Blige, New Kids on the Block. So he like my big brother in Detroit, and I ended up just going to rehearsal with my best friend Gerald Hatton, and
Okay.
he was like go to rehearsal with me. I'm like all right. So I'm just sitting out in the audience while they on stage. The guy she hired to sing background didn't show up this day. Actually, he didn't show up for about 3 or 4 days. But this first day of rehearsal, he didn't show up. So the music director was like, "Come here, Marcus, sing this note for me. Just do this rehearsal." And when Aaliyah walked in, she said, "Who is that?" And they was like, "That's Marcus Devine." She was like, "I like him. I like him." So 2 days later, the guy ended up showing up to rehearsal, and he was upset. Like, "How y'all gonna get somebody else? Whatever." So Aaliyah's daddy was like, "We're gonna hold an audition for background singers, so give him a fair shot."
Hmm.
So it's 20 guys in here now
Wow.
trying to audition. So Aaliyah walks in while auditions are going on and said, "What's going on?" And the lady who was over said, "Well, your daddy said we're going to have an audition." So she said, "No, no, 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 no. I want Marcus in front of everybody." And the lady turned around and said, "Well, y'all heard what she said. Y'all have a good day." And that was it.
See, that's another I love my life moment.
I
Right.
love my life moment. You hear me? And you say give you a story.
Yeah, if you
It,
could share a story with us.
I have a few about, but I'm just gonna share this one. I had a jersey on one day in rehearsal. She walked up to me and was like, "Marcus, where you get that jersey from?" I was like, "Nah, I just bought it." I'm like, "You like this?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I knew her birthday was in 2 days, so I went
Okay.
and bought her the same exact jersey as mine.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and the crazy thing is, she's in. I think she was in the Vibe magazine. She did a Vibe magazine spread and wore the jersey I bought her.
Oh, okay. So that photo is like forever,
Yeah,
like
I can
printed.
send it to you. It's in my phone right now. I can send it to you.
Yeah. Oh, that is so dope.
Hmm.
Wow. And like, what kind of person was she? Because I always hear like she was hardworking, but she was also like really really nice.
I tell everybody, you know, people like, "Oh, she was an angel." When I say really, now she didn't play. That's the beauty. That's she's a, a serious angel. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
She's, you know, if you do her wrong, she know how to stand up for herself.
Okay.
But if she loved you and liked you, last quick story. I was doing a concert, one of my first concerts in Detroit, as me as the solo artist,
Okay.
and I went to her house to invite her, and she ran down the stairs. And no, the gardener was like, "Who you want to see?" I said, "I'm here to see Diane," which is her mother, because she
Hmm.
was still young. I'm like, you know, I'm not just gonna pop up at the house like, see Aaliyah. So so her mama, so the gardener was like, "Diane, somebody named Marcus Devine is here to see you." And I guess Aaliyah heard her, and all I heard was the steps go. She literally jumped from the top step and jumped around my neck and was hugging me like, "Oh my God, I miss you." So those kind of things are buried in my mind, like you know, of her. Like so, she was incredible.
Man, thank you so much for sharing those
Nah,
stories.
you're welcome.
Because I could like when I tell you biggest fan ever, like biggest fan. Like I have a picture of her up on my wall. I have the
Wow.
t-shirts. Like I listen to her music still all this time. I will argue someone down about
I feel you.
I don't play. So
I
thank
feel
you
the
so
same.
much. Yeah, that means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, I also wanted to talk to you about being a musical director. So I don't know much
Hmm.
about that, but how did you become a musical director?
Well, it started in plays. I did a lot of plays too. So, a friend of mine was the music director of this particular play, and the tour manager called me because I'm producing by this point. I'm working on a lot of people at this point. So he called, was like, "Hey, I'm going on tour. You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I go." But I was going just to play keys, extra keys, and we did one city, I think it was. We were there for a week, got back, and the music director wanted more money. So he was like, "I'm not going out if y'all don't give me no more money." And the lady over the plate called me, was like, "Marcus, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My music director quit." I said, "Hey, stop crying. I got you." And literally, for me saying "I got you," that started my whole journey of being a music director. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Right? You hear me? Like up to like on the serious scale, I've
Hmm.
did bands and stuff before, but I was like, whoa! And to throw something that massive at my feet. I'm talking about this is a major tour. This ain't no little shit. This is major cities, New York. And I remember going to New York the first time to the Beacon Theater, which is legendary in New York. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, and they was like, "So who's the music director?" And everybody pointed at me, and they was like, and they literally started laughing. I'm talking like,
Oh,
"Oh, who him?" I'm only 23. They're like, nah. And but at the end of the week, they all came and apologized to me. And was like, "Hey man, we sorry. We had no idea."
but so what made you take on that challenge?
Because I ain't scared. And when I say that, that's not in a bragging way.
Mhm.
I'm more fearful of not doing something. Like I'll get sick at the thought of me not taking on a challenge. Like
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I rather do it and fail than not do it. And that's literally how it's been my life. I could tell you a million stories. I ain't gonna do that today, but where that type of attitude has benefited me in my life. You know what I mean? So when she said she needed somebody, I wasn't gonna run. My thing is, I'm gonna always say yeah and figure it out. You
But
know,
that's a lesson to be learned for anybody in any type of like field or career that you're in to,
hmm
to just do it because there's no way for you to grow if you don't take on those challenges or get outside of your comfort zone.
right?
So,
And my thought process is everything you need to make it happen is in the happening.
mhm,
Like so, it's just like you doing this podcast. You don't know if the microphone is working until you plug it up and see if it's, oh, I don't have no sound. Okay, let me try this. It's in the doing of it that you figure it out. Because everything is just on paper. It's like, oh, that looks great. Until you start working it out. Take this microphone, then you reading it like, take this microphone, plug it in there. But it
yeah.
may be something loose in the in there that you don't know. So it's in the doing that's how I live my life. It's like, hey, can you do country music? Mm-hmm. Okay, I need a song. All right, I'm gonna go study country music. So by the time you get to me and be like, you have it, I sure do. So
Yeah.
that's just how I do. That's
No,
how.
I totally feel that because even me doing this, like if you talk to my friends, they would never in a million years think that I would have a podcast and I'll be talking to people because I'm the
Wow.
quiet girl in the corner. I stay in the background. I do all the work in the back, the PR, all that stuff. That's me. Never
Okay.
in the forefront. So I completely understand. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and do it.
Do it.
So doing something to like the millennium, I can't talk, millennium tour.
Oh no, it's hard. We all mess up on it. We've been doing it for 3 years and we still. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're all right.
There's so many different artists and there's so many different, artist teams and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. How, as the musical director, do you deal with that? Because everybody is different.
I think the plays was the part to help because just think about it on plays, there's 20 different people, actors. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Same thing. They come with their managers sometimes. They got their assistants. So you got to learn to handle all of those different people. So the play world was the thing that got me really ready to deal with all of these artists because they all the same. I don't care what level they're on. They
Mhm.
all want something. You just got to figure out can you give it to them or not, and not be afraid to be like, nah, that is not gonna happen. That I'll work on. And what you're gonna do? That curtain's still going up at 8 o'clock. So you can sit here and get mad, or we can figure out the best way to get you close to what you want. You know what I mean? So the play world is what kind of got me ready to deal with all those different artists.
That's so true. Because I also I didn't think of that in a like in a play. There
Hmm.
would be all those different personalities that you still have to deal
Oh man.
compared to a tour. It would be the same thing.
Oh yeah.
That's very true. And so now you're gonna be getting ready to put out music as an artist. So
Hmm.
I know you put out music before as an artist, so
I'll just yeah.
it's nothing new, but the music industry has changed. It's
Hmm.
constantly evolving. So I want to know before we get into the music, like, do you feel any pressure because of how it's changed, how so many people are focused on like social media and like streaming numbers and followers and all that stuff, or you're just gonna do you?
That's good. I'm glad you asked. I'm gonna do me, and when I say that is, I'm not putting my album on any streaming platforms.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm dealing with a platform called Even,
Mm-hmm.
Even.biz, where you can let the audience pay whatever they want to pay for your record. I want to go directly to the audience. I want my audience to. I want to know who they are. You know what I mean? And nothing against the people that go to Spotify and all of those different type of places, but I don't want to put all of this into the music and say, oh, and just be bragging about 4 million streams and I have $40 to show for it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm so far beyond the hype of all of this. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I want to build a fan base that loves Marcus. So just 10,000 people, I'm cool with. You know, I'm not putting a number on it, but I'm just saying, if there's 10,000 people that be like, "We love you," then that's where I'm really catering to with this project.
Because that's something I've been trying to understand. Because I know for a lot of artists, like they'll post like the Spotify wrap up, they'll post like Apple Music and all that stuff. But
It's
then
embarrassing to me.
it's weird because then people will post how much the artists are getting paid from these platforms and it's nothing. So,
You, it's like anything else. We get hype about the numbers, and I want to talk about something, but I don't want to talk about it here. But then we went through a situation in 2020 that
okay.
did the world crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the numbers that got everybody in a frenzy about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's some about numbers that we get excited. Whether it's you put up a picture, you're more concerned about how many people like the picture than is it just a great picture.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? So people put up, oh, I got 1.7 million views, I mean 7 million streams. Why would you put that up when we know what that equates to?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't get caught up in the hype of those numbers. I,
Also, sorry to cut you off.
you okay?
No, I wanted to also know too because do those numbers, the streaming numbers, does that even equate to like ticket sales for concerts? Because that's another issue I'm seeing is some artists can't
Mhm.
sell out their venues, even though
Yeah,
they may have so many streams.
yeah. Because one thing, and this is a good interview. I'm enjoying this. Uh, um, we we're lazy as people. And when I say lazy, I'm not like lazy working,
Mm-hmm.
but if I don't make you work for something, you're not going to work. You're not going to say, let me go the extra mile. Even me going to even.biz is
Mm-hmm.
me saying, I got to take a chance on people saying, oh, well, I don't want to go away from Spotify. I don't want to go away because we get stuck in the rut, not understanding like my life and my career is more important than whether it's easy for you to just hit a button and listen to my record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So um, the numbers don't equate to show because if I can hear the record all the time, I don't. We know the concert is going to be what, like most of the time. I'm just saying with the new artists, not to bash them, but that's why '90s artists continue to sell records. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to continue to sell out more shows,
Yeah.
they work more because people were actually invested into that music. You bought that album. You read those credits. You
Hmm.
couldn't say I want this song and not those other 9 songs that you still pay the producer for. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So people were invested. It was like, this is my album. I bought this album. But now I like one song that they play to death, and I'm not even invested into the artist. So guess what? I ain't gonna pay no extra money to get my hair done, put on a new outfit, put
Hmm.
on. So it's just a different world. So my thing is to I want an experience with my audience, with my artists, with me, my audience, the people that love me. I want them to be like, hey, we ride for Marcus. If he called and need a ride to the airport, I'm going to pick him up. I want a fan base like that. You know what I mean? So it's different.
But I think that is the way to go because there's so much like everybody's kind of for themselves a lot online. I'm talking about like people in general. So I
Hmm.
think a lot of people are trying to look for communities to belong to
Yes.
and stuff like that. So I think if artists take that route of really connecting with their fans in that way, like not
Hmm.
in a way where like we know all your business, like not that type of stuff, but you just have that relationship with the artist where you have that kind of like fan community with like different things going on, like special events for the fans or what have you. I
Hmm.
feel that is something that people will really appreciate
Right.
and gravitate to. So I like what you said because I definitely agree because a lot of stuff has me very confused as to what is going on in this industry that I'm trying to understand more. So that makes a lot of
Hmm.
sense. But back to you, you're getting ready to give us some music. So let us know all the things like what is it you're working on? When can we expect something? Like what's happening?
Well, I'm working on my project. It's called I Love My Life. Well, hashtag I Love My Life. But um, and I'm having fun with it. The lead single is called Greatest Show on Earth.
Okay.
Uh, and Greatest Show on Earth was actually a part of a EP that I did during the pandemic um, called Contagious. So iTunes wouldn't clear the title of the record.
Oh, because of that the time we were in?
Yeah, but it was crazy though. It was like, but I ain't gonna even get off into that. But they wouldn't clear it, so I just put it up on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And when I started doing promo for the new record, I sent it to Ron, my PR guy, and was like, "Well, just give this to the DJs and everybody. Let them play this until I get the music out that I want from the record." So I started, giving out the music for the record. Little did I know that Greatest Show on Earth was gonna get hot and people liking it, and they've added to a few stations already. So now I'm doing photo shoots for Greatest Show on Earth to release it as a single next month. So
Amazing. Congratulations.
yeah,
That's
thank you, thank you. But the whole project, I'm scheduling it for October, which is my birthday, October
okay.
1st.
Okay.
So sometime in October, and I'm just happy I got Selena Johnson on it,
Ooh.
Q Parker from 112,
Okay.
Dave Hollister.
So you got all the
Um,
singers.
oh yeah, you got to sing on this one. So then I have a young lady from Detroit named Jody on it.
Oh,
She's incredible. No, she's coming out. We working on some stuff for her. She's incredible. So, and then my little sister, Cherry Black, she actually sings background for. Oh, she'll kill me. Katy Perry.
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's huge.
yeah. So it's I'm excited about this one.
Okay, so we have some things to look out for, which
Definitely.
I'm excited about because like you said, I like how your single has like kind of, gone so fast that now you're doing photo shoots to put it out as an actual single. Because I
Right.
think what people want too is like good music, not like the microwave stuff that kind of just sounds like everybody else, which I find a lot of times that's what we get on like New Music Friday.
Yeah.
So I think too that's probably why things are moving faster than maybe you had expected because there's a need for
And
good
a few DJs and hosts have said exactly what you just said. The feeling of it is needed and it's
Mhm.
being missed. But the crazy thing is, like I said earlier, I'm 90s R&B to me. Like, you know what I mean? And it's never going to go anywhere. 90s artists will work forever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I totally agree with you because like I said, I was saying it to someone else. Oh, it's a singer from here from Montreal, Wayne Tennant. And I was saying if you look at my platforms where I listen to music, it's
mhm,
all mainly old school R&B.
right.
So I'll listen music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You'll catch some new stuff here and there that I like. But yeah, it's a lot of like old school music
Yeah.
that
And
you
I and one thing I'm not the bitter older guy that's been doing this a long time. I still love a lot of the new stuff. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But it's still the forerunners of the new stuff.
Yep.
It's the hers. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's people like that. It's just when you got everybody coming out trying to sing the same cadence and the same
Yeah.
melody. It's like, ah man,
Yeah. It
like
happens. You listen to a playlist of all the new music and it just starts melting together. You don't even realize you're on a different song. So
I've done it. Yes.
it does happen. What are you most excited about coming back as an artist?
Um, to see the people response at me doing it for real. Like, you know what I mean? I put out music, but this is the first time I ever took the steps to be an artist, do the interviews, to do promotion, and like so it feels good to actually do this. So I'm excited to see what the because I know a lot of people, but
Hmm.
I'm excited to see what a lot of the people how they embrace the artist Marcus Devine.
Okay. And also the entrepreneur, Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Devine. So you
Yeah.
have Marcus Devine's signature shades that we see
Mm-hmm.
you wearing now.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you come up with the shades? And I did see that you had Uncle Charlie wearing a pair too,
Yeah.
which is so
Uh, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite people in the world. In real life, so that's a blessing. Um, my wife had an eyelash line, and I'd have about 1,000 pairs of sunglasses.
okay.
Without my line, I just have tons of shades. Um, and one day I'm like, "Hey, yo, hook me up with some of your vendors that you get your eyelashes from, so I can, I'm thinking about creating my own line." So she
Hmm.
gave me some numbers. They turned me on to some other people. So I started getting samples. I'm going through, like, no, no. And then I came across a pair. They were light. You forget they were on your face. Not
Okay.
these, but it was and that was the first pair that I had.
Okay.
And I put them up and they went crazy. People went crazy. I'm at the mailbox every day, sending out sunglasses. So, and Teddy Riley's like, "Do you realize you the only you got one of the first black sunglass lines? There's no whole bunch of." I'm like,
It's true.
"Whoa, I didn't think about that."
That's
You
very
know,
true. I didn't think about that either.
yeah. So, actually, he wants to do a Teddy Riley design with through my company.
Oh, that'd be dope too, because he's also known to always be wearing shades on.
If you go through there's pictures of him with my sunglasses on through
Okay.
in my IG too. So him, uh, Coco from SWV, Bobby V, like the Yin Yang twins, Pretty Ricky, like all of them, Lloyd,
Mhm.
Omarion, all of them got
Oh, love that. And where can people purchase them?
them. Well, I still hand to people, Marcus to directly to the people. Just go to Shades of Divine on Instagram. Hit me in the DM, and I'll tell you what information to send me, and I'll get them right out to you.
Okay, perfect. So we got to check
Hmm.
you out on IG, send you a DM, Shades of.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Before we get into a game of R&B trivia, I do want to ask another question because the Grammys happen this month,
Hmm.
and I feel like every year people are shocked and there's like an uproar and they don't understand how the album of the year works. Like no one's
Hmm.
ever happy with what is happening. So
Hmm.
I know you've been in this game for a while, so I just want to get your opinion on
Hmm.
like how much of an influence does Grammy voters have an album of the year, or are there other factors that make that outcome? Because for some reason, nobody understands why certain people win every year, and then some people never win album of the year and different things like that.
I think you really just answered it. People don't know.
Oh,
That is the answer. Like people don't get in to understand
hmm,
how it works on the inside, so they're left upset.
okay.
They think it's, oh, you have a great body of work. That's not it. I tell people, anytime you put it in the hands of the people to vote,
Hmm.
and when I say the hands of the people, I'm talking about the people inside that can, it can always be uh, messed up. And I know that may not be good for a career answer. That may not be a good career answer, but I care nothing about the Grammys. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Now, if I
Hmm.
won one, I'm gonna go up there and give my speech just like anybody else.
Of
But
course.
I don't make music for the Grammys because it's still vote. I know more people who vote for friends than they do songs.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about people that I know close. That,
Hmm.
yeah, oh, okay, you on there? Okay, I'm gonna vote for you. You never even heard the record. So it can always be screwed up. It don't. And Jay Z had a great point. Like, you know what I mean? Not saying
Hmm.
that Beyonce had an incredible album, but it was one of the most played records than
Hmm.
anybody. I don't know, about 5 or 6 singles off the record. How do you not be in the number to say I've won once?
Hmm.
When you got the whole radio everywhere on lock, not just black radio,
Yeah.
radio everywhere on lock.
Global.
And there's nothing against Taylor Swift because she's brilliant. I don't care what nobody say. You can be mad at her, but she
Hmm.
knows what she's doing and she know how to play the game.
No, her and her team are really good.
Oh my God,
Really, really good.
incredible. So I it's I think it's the system. It's the way it's set up.
Okay, yeah.
I think the Grammys. This is my thing. I can't tell nobody what to do with their stuff, but I
Hmm.
think the Grammys should be the people.
Mm,
You know what I mean? They have what's award show, the People's Choice Awards.
yeah.
They have one. Why are they all not People's Choice? Why not the people? Why aren't the people um voting? Because they're the ones listening to the music.
Yeah.
Half the people that's in the room that's voting on the music that even determine whether it's even considered, they're not even listening to that record. You got country artists voting on the number one R&B album of the year. They've never heard it.
Hmm.
So it's, to me, it's the way the system is set up. But it ain't my system. So
No, but you said a lot of good things, like how we hold the Grammys in such a high regard
hmm
when we shouldn't. Because I think, too, I think that would put less pressure on some of the artists to just make good music instead of
hmm
trying to focus, like, yeah, I'm going to make it this way so that, I'm eligible for a Grammy and then da 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 da.
I'm gonna say this. I was trying not to say this part, but since you said what you just said, that sparked what I was about to say. I think we should always have our own. But the thing
Mhm.
is, we do have our own, and we don't. We'll go to the BET Awards looking like we're going to a cookout, right?
Listen.
But we'll go get the best suit, the best dress, the best everything, and go to the Grammys. Like, if you made the BET Awards, and I'm just using BET as an example. You can
Yeah.
you whatever award, but if you made that high, that upper echelon of people come, like, then we wouldn't care about that. We wouldn't care that we overlooked by somebody who's never really cared about you in the first place. And this is the part of the Marcus Devine I be trying to leave off the interviews.
No, but it's needed to be talked about, and a lot of people are talking about it. Like, I don't feel that anything you're saying is wrong because
Mhm,
I look at the BT Awards. Like, I was supposed to go last year, but I literally I left because it was
mhm.
chaotic. Um, but I find a lot of our artists, the people that we want to see at the BT Awards, don't show up to the BT Awards for whatever reason. I don't know, so I don't blame anybody, but I
Well, that's
just
because you might go there and get into a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we gotta. we gotta take our stuff and nurture it and treat it just like you do when you go over their house.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Don't throw stuff on the floor at your own house, but then you go over there. Oh, pick that up. Go. Oh, pick that up. I wish you could do this. And you fall. You get announced for a Grammy, and you up there. You could barely talk because you crying. But if you
Hmm.
want to be a tear award, hey, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's man, it's just different for me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing a lot of things, and like I was saying before, a lot of things confused me. So I always ask artists for their opinion, especially people that, that's been through it for a couple of years and they
Mm-hmm.
understand it a bit more. So I feel like there's a lot of more work to be done,
Yeah.
and hopefully there's a switch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep the hope alive.
Let's go. I ain't mad at you. I feel you.
Yeah. But thank you so much for answering that question.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate that. So let's get into some R&B trivia. I'm going to ask you 6 questions. We're going to see how well you do before we wrap it up. Okay. So if you're ready, let's start with question 1.
All right. Okay.
Which singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer released their single Super Freak in 1981?
Rick James did that.
That is correct. All right. Question 2. I'm going to give you some lyrics. I'm not going to sing, not a singer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure you'll get it. What song from Michael Jackson's Thriller album features the lines, "Don't you know now is the perfect time? We can dim the lights just to make it right in the night. Hit the loving spot. I'll give you all that I've got." Is it A, Wanna Be Starting Something, B, PYT, C, Baby Be Mine, or D, Human Nature?
B.
Correct. PYT. That is the
Mm-hmm.
answer. Okay, 3. Which R&B group was not formed in Atlanta? Is it A, 112, B, Jagged Edge, C, TLC, or D, Drew Hill?
Drew here.
That is correct. 4. What is the name of the group that consists of Tank, Genuine, and Tyrese?
TGT.
That is correct.
I just said 3 songs to them. That's why that's funny to me.
Listen, I'm over here praying that we get another album.
Yeah, they're
I,
working on it.
I know, but things went a little left last
Uh,
time. So,
yeah, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed. Trust me.
so
I
I've
feel you.
been
I
I've
feel
been
you.
praying.
I feel you.
5. Aaliyah's song that was featured on the soundtrack "Romeo Must Die" is a duet with which rapper? Is it A, Magoo, B, DMX, C, Fabulous, or D, BG?
DMX.
That is correct. All right, last question. What was the original name of the Supremes? Was it A, the Marvelettes, B, Mary Jane Girls, C, the Good Girls, or D, the Primettes?
The Primettes.
That is correct. 6 out of
Mm-hmm.
6. Just like that. See, I knew you were going to get all of them. I was like, this is going to be super easy for him. But
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for playing, and let people know where we can follow you to keep up with everything so we know when the single drops, when the album's coming out, any updates with the shades and all that good stuff.
Um, well, on Facebook it's just Marcus Devine, Devine, and Instagram you can find me at the Heat Miser, DAHEATMIZER.
Perfect. Thank you again so much, Marcus, for taking time out to speak with me. Love the conversation.
You're
Can't
welcome.
wait for the music to come out and everything that you're doing. So thank you. And to everybody that's listening and watching, this is the Total R&B podcast. My name is Lorena, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at total.rb. And I will be back with a new interview.